It's a stinking hot day in Aussie today, but we need to get stuck into some work. We've got to make an anchor roller that's capable of going where Brupeg is.
Hey, tell me a story. You've been hiding yourself again. Turn your shame to glory and shake off the ball and chain. Show me, what do you care? I'm a black vulture, send me a prayer and I'll spread my wings in the sky. Let's go, wave like you see me now.
This is our current anchor roller. If I go right underneath, you can sort of see the design of it a bit. It's basically two slabs of 16mm steel, 150mm high or 6-inch, and 16mm thick, or God knows what that is in Imperial. So what I need to do is basically beef this up for sideways load. It's not strong enough, it's good enough vertically, but it's not good enough horizontally. So today we're going to be climbing up there with scaffolds, and we're going to be welding on some sideways stiffeners. Because I have fairly minimal intention of dying when I'm up there, we use these big clamp things, and basically what it does is it jams the boards together so that they essentially work as one unit. There's no way they can come loose. And then, I don't know if you saw, but we clamp the boards to the scaffold, so it essentially turns it into a really solid platform. I only learnt this after I potentially killed myself a couple of times when we were jackhammering the side of the hull, but that's a story for when you're on the boat. Because it's so bloody hot today, we're going to be stringing up a tarp so that we can work underneath and not fry. Alright, so we're up on the bow. Today's video is proudly brought to you by Wind Noise, available in friggin' annoying and quite loud. What I need to do, I've made these made out of real estate sign, just some templates that I'm going to build. What I need to do is figure out exactly what size I'm going to build these sideways strengthening supports, and then we'll go down and we'll start cutting out the steel. I'm going to sandblast the steel before I weld it up here, just because it's much easier down on the ground when it's in pieces. So what my plan is, the deck line is about here on the boat, and I can tell that because there's a weld, a double continuous weld on the inside. So I can see there's a distortion in the steel. What my plan is, that's going to be a really strong point. So I want to take a beam essentially from the, from the bottom edge of this here, and I want to come right back onto this weld line going along the deck. So that's going to give me plenty of structural strength. I don't want to put it low or high, because then I'm just going to be trying to rely on the steel not to buckle. In this case, I've got a really strong strengthening beam, like well, essentially the deck. It's basically going to mean any load is spread right across the deck. So my plan is figure out what shape I need in order to get the longest weld I can along here, as well as the longest weld I can along the anchor roller. Now on the anchor roller, there's a couple of things I want to show you. So when I built this roller, you can see all the way along that bottom edge there's a weld that sort of runs about ½ an inch up, sort of goes around that 45 and then carries on, and then there's a beam that goes right up to the forward part of the bow. So that's a stainless rod. It's a single continuous solid 16mm piece of stainless that goes all the way down around the front edge and along that bottom edge, and then there's another one right along the top there as well. So basically what that means is any area where chain's potentially going to hit, it's going to hit stainless rather than mild steel. We did that so that we can cut down on rust. So today I'm not going to be welding on a piece of stainless around the edge of this new mild steel. I'm pretty confident that the chain isn't really going to get anywhere near it, and if it does, the worst thing that's going to happen is I'll get some rust stains going down the front. None of that's really a big deal for where we're going. I'm expecting to get quite a few rust stains down the front. Every time we bash into ice, we're going to take off paint. But what I will do is just over time keep an eye on it, and if it starts being an issue, then I'll chuck some stainless on later. Okay, so back in the middle bench, we've got a piece of 200mm by 10mm flat bar. Got our template that we made up by the anchor roller on the scaffold. So what I'm going to do is transfer this over. Because I've got this big angle here, I don't have to cut this in half and then you know, try and get half out of each end. What I'm going to do is actually overlap the templates, because then I can make them longer. The longer I make it, the better. It's just going to be a stronger thing. So to cut this out, I could do it with my little 5-inch grinder, but I'm going to use my big grinder. It's a 9-inch grinder. So for those that haven't ever seen one of these or used one of these, it basically has a 9-inch disc. We're using, if you're cutting steel, you want the disc to be as thin as possible. This is a 1.9mm disc, and these really are a prick of a machine. If something's going to cut your face off, it's definitely going to be one of these. So I'm normally pretty casual when it comes to safety, you know, take the normal precautions and that sort of thing, but with this thing I don't really take any risks, because it's as I say, a real mongrel of a machine. If anything's gonna basically smash a disc, bite in and throw the grinder away, it'll be one of these.
But since he arrived, we just cried. Don't you let him get to you. Don't you let him get to you.
Put the camera on me. So I hate it when he's using the 9-inch, because it's really scary. My God, like the distance between, you know, his calf and that ginormous thing just freaks me right out. Could you please hurry up and finish so I don't have to look at this anymore?
Yeah, it's a little bit off there. I got it, I'll show you that. So I'm going to cut that curve out. This is the side that gets welded to the hull. This is the outside. And I just don't want a manky corner, so I'm just going to do a nice radius around like that.
Yeah, no.
So that it blends in easy.
Yeah, but look how thick that is.
10 mil?
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite thick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's as thin as I'd want to go actually. Yeah.
Well, it's taking the side weight, right?
Yeah, it's taking the side weight, but because it's so thick that way, it's 150 mil that way.
Yeah.
It's plenty strong. It'll be fine. This is beefed up more than what I've seen on a few of the other trawlers.
Yeah. Well, we'll be in probably rougher conditions than some of them.
Yeah.
You okay?
Oh,
You alright?
yeah. Could you grab me a flapper wheel?
Where are they?
Under my metal bench in the blue milk crate. Gotta figure out now how to attach it. I gotta maybe put some G-clamps on it and hang it with ropes so that I can adjust the level really carefully.
Oh, you mean while you weld it?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Wonder if I need to get the blaster up and blast up in here. There's a bits of paint and crap in there. I think it'll ruin the weld a bit. So you can see I'm starting to lose shade up under my little tarp. the plan was we were going to climb up under that and start welding today, but it's mid-afternoon and it's absolutely blazing hot sun at the moment, and the boat has no shade over at that end. So what we're going to do is get up first thing in the morning. We'll probably get up maybe 5 o'clock and start welding, and that means the front end of the boat is completely shaded. So great time to be up there welding. Tomorrow's supposed to be 35 degrees, so another scorcher. So yeah, perfect time to use that shade.
So other than some heavy negotiations around safety,
as in we put some in place.
So Dame used to be a bowman on race yachts. Yeah. So I know I've been on a race yacht with him, and he's crazy. So
Thanks,
really good.
Thanks, honey.
Really good, but they don't use harnesses, and it's amazing what they do. But
it was normal for us to go up the top of for me to go up the top of a mast on a race yacht, like 80 feet above the water and 20 knots of wind and bashing around in waves and stuff. So it's really not a big deal for me to climb all over this boat. It's just second nature to me.
Yeah. So, but I argued, it only takes one slip, no matter how confident you are, and that won the day. Thank goodness. So, so Dame's harnessed, which is really great.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you need to sandblast the weld up there?
Yeah. So when I welded the original roller onto the boat, it's 16 mil. It's 150 mil high and it's 16 mil thick. I've got all the numbers around the wrong way. It's 150 mil high. I don't know how long it is. It's 16 mil thick, and I welded a 16 mil solid stainless bar all the way around all of the edges. So if the chain bashes on an edge, it hits stainless rather than mild steel. The issue is now I'm basically going to weld another piece of steel onto where that weld is between the stainless and the mild, and I can't get in there with my grinder and actually get all of the paint out. So what I'm going to do, I don't want paint in my new weld, so what I'm going to do is get my sandblaster up there and sandblast along that line where the weld is, and I know that I'll get completely perfect white metal so that I can get a really good weld to it. The downside to doing this is it makes my seat up there on those aluminium planks completely wet, so I am expecting to have a wet ass for most of today.
So the goal today, this weekend, we were hoping to get the anchor winch bolted down and the anchor roller finished off, which also means strengthening underneath the anchor.
We're building a big
winch.
web under the deck, a steel web under the deck, because if we really haul on that winch, it's got enough power to basically rip itself out of the deck. So we're making a massive steel web underneath, reinforcing all the deck and everything, so that the load is spread over a really big area, and it's got huge big bolts and everything that we're going to be bolting it down with. So
because we're going to get slightly oversized anchors, just so that we can handle storm conditions with a bit more confidence. So it's quite a lot for the anchor winch to manage.
Quite oversized.
Yeah. All right. Maybe more negotiations. For what we need, it needs to be more hardy than what most people use on their boats. It needs to be more effective anchor.
Yeah. We've had a lot of experience with different types of anchors as well, and we've got a huge amount of trust in that sort of spade style anchor, that like a Rockner or a Manson.
With a roll. Roll bar, so
like a Mantis. For American viewers, they might know of a Mantis anchor. Rockner is a New Zealand anchor, and that's been around for a long time. They're all very similar to each other. They work very similar, and they're incredibly effective anchors. According to their size chart, you can use a 70 kg anchor on Brupeg and be completely fine in most conditions, but we're going to 110 kg because the winch is more than capable of hauling that up without any drama, and the bigger the blade area, the higher the holding power on those anchors.
And the research we've done, most of the research we've done is the storm conditions and not with great holding. So, and we're going to have a crane on the front to move anchors around. So we'll have what's a spade anchor, sand anchor?
We'll have a Danforth basically up on the bow the whole time, and we'll have our Rockner as our primary bower, and we will have a stern anchor. Sorry?
Our primary anchor.
Bower. Oh,
bower? What
yeah.
is a bower?
Number one anchor, bower.
Is that a boat term?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So we will have two anchors up on the bow ready at any one time. So we'll have our main anchor hanging off the bow roller all the time, and then we'll have a Danforth anchor tucked up on the side, on the inside of the boat, should we ever need it. Our little red engine crane that you see us buzzing around with, we're going to modify that. But when the time comes to launch Brupeg, we're going to cut that up and modify it so that it's actually up on the bow, and we're going to use that to move our anchors around because they're too heavy to move by hand. So, and it basically means we can deploy either anchor within a minute or two of each other. So if we lose one, we're good to go with the second pretty much straight away.
So so Dame's gonna get to sandblasting, and then you're welding on your braces. Yeah, and then painting. But we were hoping to get the anchor winch and the webbing underneath the anchor winch done this weekend, but Dame's away for a work conference and to check out a project that might possibly be coming up for Brupeg when we're in the water, which is really exciting.
Such a cool project too.
Yeah, it's the first stage of...
We can't tell you anything about it, that's why we're not saying.
We will as soon as we can, and it probably will be within a couple of weeks, which is really great.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Dane's got to do the first sort of meet up with another partner involved in it, so it's really exciting. So, but because of that, we're aiming just to get the anchor roller done today, just the bracing on the outside, because that's what we need the scaffolding for, and it's kind of the hardest bit. You're up in the air and we have to move heavy things around, so everything else is on deck. So
yeah, it's not a lot of work, but it takes a long time to do it because everything's so difficult. Like, you know, everything's at height and everything's slow. So, and
the other thing too is we've got a bit of a heat wave over here with 35 Celsius today. And that's like hot sun. It's really uncomfortable. So we've got to get to it while we've still got a bit of shade and there's not too much heat in the sun. So we got up about 3:30 this morning to get some admin done for the channel and to get this early. So I'll leave you to it.
Thanks. All right. So this gives you an idea, like once I've blasted, you can sort of see how clean that weld comes up. There's next to no paint in any of those little crevices. It's going to give me a much better weld, the ability to have that really clean like that. So that's the same on both sides now. So I've gone right the way back and blasted as far back as I need to. So I made this jig, and basically it's just a G-clamp held on by a piece of string. There's a G-clamp above it. Let me see if I can show you that. What it does is it takes all of the weight of this steel plate, and then I've just chucked a couple of tacks just in each corner just to hold it, but that's basically where the plate is going to sit, and that gives us the ability now to stop the flex sideways on that bow roller. So we're going to climb up now and we're going to weld it in properly. So it's really blowing its guts off today, and we need to get into this welding for this bracket that we're putting on the front of the boat. One of the issues that I'm having is I'm pretty rubbish at arc welding, but I'm really good at MIG welding, I think, and it's really windy, which is absolute worst time to be trying to MIG weld, but I'm more confident of getting a better weld with the MIG welder in really windy conditions than I am with the arc welder in really good conditions. So today we are going to try and get our MIG welder suspended way up in the air, so I'll show you what we're going to do. So Anton's come up from Brisbane to give us a hand. What we're going to do is put our chain block on the second highest rung you can see on that A-frame. And the reason being, if I come sideways, is the weight will be held pretty much in the middle of that A-frame. So there's quite a big square platform on the bottom. So we're going to haul the welder up as high as we can get it so that we can have the welder within 3 meters of the weld. That's how long my lead is. And yeah, we'll do that. We'll probably just leave the welder suspended while we're up there.
Terrible weather. Note that once again in time, a man in King of Babylon is on the rise. Let's hope we'll get through. One step wrong and he will fall. We don't think he will dance at all. No more invites to the ball. When he's back down underground, we will all be singing songs. And finally, no more lies. We won't let it get to us. We won't let it get to us. We refuse to live in sorrow.
So this is our system. We have our bottle strapped to a piece of wood going across, lifting it up a couple of feet, I suppose. We've got our gas going up to the welder, which is dangling by the chain block there, and then all of that allows us to get our earth cable right up the top there. You can see it just clamped on. And also our welding gun, so we can reach both sides up there now. So we're going to go up and belt out some welds.
weld is amazing. The top weld is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, look at this, right? Yeah, it's almost too windy to weld. It's like too,
Well, I'm wondering how you're doing it, yeah.
yeah, it's too.
Do you want to carry on with the top?
I think
The
so,
webbing,
yeah.
maybe?
The what?
The webbing? The underneath thing?
Yeah. Okay, can you pass my welding gloves? So just up the top there. Thanks. That's not going anywhere. Alright. Well done. Done. God, I love my MIG welder.
Yeah. What's going on with that side? Is it the wind or?
There's a bit of shit coming through from the weld above when I did it with the arc welder.
Oh yeah.
Bit of flux.
Right. As long as it's nice and solid.
It's got a hell of a weld on the top, so it'll be fine just with that. But
yeah. Oh, that looks alright. What are you doing?
That's the arc weld, but see how, have a look at the other side, see the difference? This is sort of sitting proud of the metal, whereas the other one's fused into it. So I'm going to do another blast over this one just to fuse it. I don't care if I got too much weld, I don't want it coming off. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the difference in welders, I think.
Yeah.
This one's got more horsepower.
Yeah. So you use the other welder for that?
I used the little welder.
Wow, what a difference, eh?
Yeah. But that was in really windy conditions, so that's the only reason why I used that welder is
Yeah.
I couldn't use this one.
Yeah.
But I'm not a very good arc welder, and I'm not really happy with those.
Right.
I'm doing 3 runs across the top because I know I can weld really strong on that orientation and not very strong when I'm underneath. So I'm doing 1 run along the bottom and 3 on the top, which should give it like more than enough strength for what I'm trying to do. And none of this has to be watertight because it doesn't matter if it leaks, it's on the outside of the boat. So,
But then you've got rust.
it'll be sealed up enough, like I won't have any pinholes or gaps. But the bottom for me is more just filler than anything else.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Alright, let's get these other runs done. Can you back the wire feed off slightly?
6? Yeah, that wind's starting to really come up now, so let's just carry on with the thing.
It's hard because it's gusty too.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think you've got enough on there though.
I've got more than enough for strength. Like,
So we just need to do a quick blast and paint, right? Have you got paint for
yeah,
it?
yeah, I got paint. So let's get I'll get the tools together and we'll blast this.
What do you need me to do? How do you need help?
I think I'm alright. I just need these moved away so they don't get wet, like the electrical stuff.
Okay, so can the sander reach up from the bottom?
Yeah,
So it's just setting that up down the bottom?
yeah, just setting and everything will pull up.
After sandblasting, the steel's ready for its coat of rust kill, and then tomorrow morning we'll start applying first of a few coats of etch and then top coat. Anton came up for the weekend from Brisbane to help Damien with the design for the Jet Dinghy. They made a lot of progress. I'm recording this.
He's practicing shit.
I've started recording it.
Yeah, cool.
What are you doing again? You're extruding the...
I'm extruding the tool, man.
So everyone's working on the dinghy measurements and design for the tubes, for the alloy tubes. So.
Yeah, so basically I'm just trying to draw the dinghy, what's there of it now, so we can get an idea of the tube lengths that we need to go around the front of it, or go from the sides to the front, so it's got to make it flow around and up.
Right.
The hole right, and then put the tubes on and
So
extrude them.
is it possible, because you know how it tapers towards the bow?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do the tubes parallel to each other and just have the alloy on the bottom weld on a slightly different? Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want the boat to look like that.
Oh yeah,
I want
totally.
it
Yeah. No, we'll make it so in effect it'll
be the same width.
it'll
there.
come out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'll try and work that into it. At the moment, but yeah, I've got to work on that curve, get that curve right.
Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, gone.